Exchange password required.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, and a very good afternoon to all the viewers out there. And also Kia ora, which stands for hello in Maori language. And yep, so today we're gonna start our fourth episode of Samsa Podcast with two female guests, which is the first time we have female guests in this podcast. So I would like to give them their moment to introduce themselves. Yep. First of all, I give way to Anna to introduce herself.
Do I have to take that microphone?
No.
This one. Okay. Okay. Do I look at the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Hi everyone. I'm Anna. Full name Janariah Reza. I am a second pro, which is third year for electrical electronic engineering, and my minor is power engineering. Yeah. Do I need to introduce anything else?
Nah, that's okay.
Okay,
That's
thank
alright.
you.
Yep, just a short and simple one. And proceed to Aqilah,
Okay,
please.
hi, I'm Aqilah. So my full name is Aqilah binti Suadi. I just finished my final exams for my degree, which is Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in Strategy and Entrepreneurship and Marketing. So I'm currently waiting for the results. If it's okay, then we can graduate soon. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much about my background.
Thank you, Aqilah. So we have a concern there from Adam. So
Okay,
to close the mic for Anna.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That you have to like give the sound wave to the
Okay.
distraction,
So
or you have to hold it like that.
do I hold it? What?
Yeah, you can hold it.
Okay.
Like
okay.
your mouse must be direct.
Facing-
Yeah, facing
Okay.
the. Yep. So it will be
Alright,
sound
alright.
clearer.
But
It's fine.
thing is not fixed.
Yeah, still a bit loose.
How do you fix that? Okay. Is this okay?
Yep. I think it's alright.
Thank you for watching.
So we move on straight away to the questions.
Okay.
So the first question for Anna.
Hmm.
Talk about your degree in engineering.
Okay. So I'm studying electrical and electronic engineering. So it means that I have kind of two parts, electrical and electronic. So electrical is mostly high voltage, national grid, the electrical system. But for electronics, it's circuitry and telecommunication. If you want to make like a robot or a product, so you use electronic. In my case, because I want to take minor in power engineering, so it means that next year I'm on third pro, I'll be focusing my studies along the electrical side. And I really want to drop everything of electronic because that's really not my core. So in engineering, it's mostly practical. So it means that a typical assignment that we're going to get is that a lecturer coming in and just open a slide and say that you're going to create like a robot that has light, or you're going to do like a simulation that shows how these batteries work, and they don't tell you anything else. And that's the hard part in engineering, because it's so open-ended that you're not really sure what to do. So end up every time you got a project, you have to go and meet your lecturer to really understand what's going on. So usually when we got an assignment, it's like a paper of information, and then you read it, you don't understand, you don't even know where the question is. So you have to read it again and again to see where the question is. The other section is the study part. So the study is a paper-based one. So that's also the part I'm not really interested in. But it's a good area to focus on your knowledge and to get you the basic. But mostly I love to do the project. So I've done quite a lot of things like a robot, a car. I've also do a simulation for a wind energy generation system that focus on the battery management system. And currently right now I'm doing research for solar panel and also home energy management system.
Alright, is that all?
Sorry.
Oh, thank you, Anna, for explaining about the engineering degree. That was nice to hear. So the next question is the same question for Aqilah. Talk about your degree, pretty much.
So, as I said just now, I'm doing a double major in strategy and entrepreneurship and also marketing. So it's two different majors, which is strategy and entrepreneurship is one same major, and marketing is another different major. So, in terms of strategy and entrepreneurship, it's more of the way of study is more about case analysis and everything. So, in terms of strategy, it's more of we analyze cases of big companies and how what are their strategies that they are doing in order to overcome like problems and also for them to move forward. And in terms of entrepreneurship, it's more of how do you start a business and how do you go on from there, how do you grow your business from there. And I think in terms of entrepreneurship, it's more of a practical in class, like we have lots of discussions and lots of activities during class for entrepreneurship. And also there's also lots of case analysis as well in entrepreneurship. So both this strategy and entrepreneurship is more of us knowing what our other business are doing in real life. So in terms of marketing, it's a bit different because I think marketing is it's more broad. You can think of lots of other different things to do with marketing because it's not just one specific thing that you can do in terms of one strategy that you want to do in marketing. So it's really broad. So I think there are lots of different sections of marketing, for example, advertising, and also marketing research, and many other stuff. So I think for marketing, every semester, every course that I took in marketing is really a different thing, really different from other marketing courses. So it's sort of every time I learn new marketing course, it will be really different from other marketing course. So I think, and also I did this marketing internship course, which is MKTG 390. So that course is where we go to companies and do marketing internships at. So I had the opportunity to do a marketing internship at Janariah, where I was in charge of marketing for the Job Ready program. So if any of you guys want to ask about Job Ready program in Janariah, you can just come and see me and just contact me to ask more about that.
Just curious, are you in this degree alone, or do you have any friends that share the same kind of degree like you?
For
Aqilah?
me,
Yeah.
So for strategy and entrepreneurship, there are other Malaysian people that are studying in that course as well, because most of them are doing a double major in that strategy and entrepreneurship and also operation and supply chain management. As for marketing, I'm the only Malaysian there, so it's really interesting because I have this balance of half of my course is with Malaysian and the other half of my course is just me and other Kiwi and other international students. So it's really fun knowing other kind of backgrounds of people and stuff. Yep.
That's interesting. So you are same batch as Adam and Amirul?
Yeah, in the same intake, February 2018.
Oh, yep. So, yep. We move on to the next question. So we will entertain our question from our members. So the first one is from Zulfaldi Adam. For both, what is the best thing about joining or participating in UC programs? So I'll go with Anna first.
What do you mean by UC program?
Like programs that were organized by UC, like I'm not sure. I think you know what it is. It's not like a club thing.
Okay.
So it's a university.
So
Nice.
am I supposed to talk about China then?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You can go that straight away.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk about China. So I was so lucky because I have this flatmate that she was the one who applied first. She applied to Weihai, and then she said to me that, oh, you know, I got an interview to Weihai. I'm like, I'm so jealous of you. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna apply for another program. So I applied for Wuhan. So I got interviewed in Wuhan, and then during the interview, I couldn't talk a lot of engineering, and then the interview was like, I don't think you're suitable for this, so I'll send you to Weihai, because Weihai is the engineering university. So I got to go to Weihai in China, in Shandong province, with Naraini. And I was also very lucky, because I didn't know that actually one of my classmates also applied for Wuhan and got the same situation as me. It's just he was also got transferred to Weihai. So I was there with 3 people that I know, 2 people that I know. So it's very easy to apply for it. So you have to go to UC Global Opportunity Facebook, or you just search online to UC Global Opportunity. And then you see what's the current opportunities there. Currently there's none, but like during winter, that's like where the peak of it. So I applied for winter, and I went there during winter break. In China, it's fully sponsored, so you don't have to pay for anything. But you might like there because it's a new language, right? So I don't know a thing about it, and so you kind of have to get creative when you want to interact with people there. So you have to be very expressive in your body language, and also because it's China, so there's this thing called the Great Firewall. So I mostly use data because I'm so fed up with VPN. A lot of people say that you should use VPN, but the thing about VPN is that you have to try it so many times, and it will just suddenly break after like an hour or so. So you have to try it every hour, and it's very, very tiring. So I end up just using my data, which is roaming. So if you have an international SIM card, then you can use your international roaming to access through. You can use it to break through the Great Firewall. So I think now I want to talk about the people there. And a lot of people who joined our program were mainland Chinese and also Hong Kong Chinese. They're very different. Like you can easily spot your Hong Kong, your mainland. So Hong Kong, because they don't have this, I mean, their countries are not like China, they're very different. They do not have the Great Firewall, they don't have this and they don't have that. So they are more outspoken, and they are more outgoing and friendly, and they use English too because they are a British colonized country back then. So they are quite fluent in English. So mostly, if you want to know Chinese, like if you want to translate it over there, then we would usually talk to like a Hong Kong people, and then they translate to the mainland Chinese people. But mainland Chinese people, they're super nice. They're like the nicest people I ever met. Like when you kind of compare a Western or like Kiwi nice thing, a nice feature, and a mainland Chinese nice characteristic, it's sort of different because in mainland Chinese, they're Asian, right? So they have like this very soft-spoken, very kind of, I don't know, I don't know what to call it in English, but it's kind of like when they talk, they're like that. And they're also very connected to you. Like if they become friends with you, they will go with you everywhere. They will always take care of you. And I have this. I was so lucky because I had one friend, and she is a mainland Chinese, but she's super nice to me. And when we were partying, she was actually crying, and she wrote like a long essay for me when I want to go back to New Zealand. I think the best thing about this is that you got to see a new world. You got to see different kind of environment that you never experienced before. Because every time we move into a new country, you got to see different things, and people there are also very different. And then every time you go, you can experience and learn from them. I think that going to China is a very great opportunity because China is quite a secretive country too, and then because you hear a lot of things of China in the news, right? And you can confirm it with that. So I will try my best to kind of like at first slow mo, trying to make a good conversation, and then trying to ask about those critical stuff. But if you want to know what I talk about, go ask me. I'm not gonna say it online.
Oh. Oh no.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, the same question applies to Aqilah as well.
I'm sorry, the question.
Use the program.
Use the program. Alright.
Yeah.
So I most of the programs that I entered in UC was mostly in the UC Center of Entrepreneurship. So it's in short, it's UCE. So UCE is a really good I would say a platform for me because they have lots of different events and activities and competitions that are there for students. Like it's not just for commerce students, it's for every UC student to enter. So they are open to everyone. So they have like this for example, currently they have this summer startup program where students who have like ideas in business can go there to gain like knowledge and also other skills, where they will have this like throughout the summer they will have lots of different speakers and coming in and mentors coming in to teach them on how do they start the business here in New Zealand if they already have this idea for a business. And they also have lots of different I would say a schedule for them. For example, they do have like when I saw the post, they have this yoga session for students as well for the participants of that program to increase their motivation and everything. So they also have some legal knowledge and legal mentorship for students who wants to do something in terms of legal in their business. So those are, but they have this interview for people who want to go inside of the program to participate in the program. So you will have to have this idea, a concrete idea, not really a concrete. It can be like a small idea, but they can help you to make it bigger. But as for me, I enjoy myself in UCE by entering lots of challenges in UCE. So these challenges typically they have these 2 days challenges, which is like a 48 hours challenge, where we will be grouped in around four people per group. Yeah, 4 people per group. So they will give us this question to go on from there. So it depends on the competition. For example, I did this marketing smackdown competition, where we have to create a marketing campaign for Christchurch City Council in order for them to generate this it's because we know that Christchurch is a place where tourists always come, and usually the Christchurch airport is where many international tourists come and stop there to as their pathway to go in South Island. But during that time, they want to like increase this sense of you would say like a patriotism to people who are living in Christchurch themselves. So they want to like increase that sense of patriotism in Christchurch themselves, not just for tourists. So they want to be able to like Christchurch people to be able to go out and just have fun in their city without just thinking that this is just a place for tourists. Now they want people here to feel that sense of happiness living in the city, will go out and spend their time in the city and everything. So from there we have to make a marketing campaign out of it. And I was lucky enough with my teammates, we managed to get to place for that. And usually for this kind of competitions, they will have lots of mentors coming in. So we have this thing called speed mentoring during those sessions. So the speed mentoring, it's like every team will get like an opportunity of 10 minutes mentoring from different mentors. So it's a total of around 1 hour, in which in that 1 hour they have like every 10 minutes there's different mentors coming in. So we have to use that 10 minutes really well to demonstrate our ideas and getting feedbacks from them. So I think it's really, really good because it's like we get to meet lots of professional people out there who are willing to give us advice and to give us more knowledge. So it's really good. And in fact, I think lots of the challenges they do, it's like I said just now, lots of the challenges is not only for people who are studying business but also everyone else. And there are other challenges that they invite people from other universities as well. So I've did some competitions that involve people studying from University of Aqilah, University of Otago, and somewhere in Palmerston North as well. So it's really, really good for you to, it's not just that skills and knowledge that you get, it's also the networks that you gain from there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much of UC.
I didn't realize if you have explained about it. But is everyone can go into UC or just?
Yeah, everyone. They are open to any UC students. So
like even different major.
yeah. Even for you as an engineering student, you can come in and enter the competitions. In fact, I do have some of my teammates studying from engineering, from biology. So they have lots, that's the thing about UCE, where when many different people come from different backgrounds, you can sort of like get these different ideas from different backgrounds of people, which is really good.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And also, yeah, I wrote the article posted by UC International. Here, this one. Yeah, and it explains a lot about the UCE. Yeah, and yeah, people can. Yeah. Never mind.
Lots of opportunities at UC. You can just go to their Facebook, and they do post many things there, many opportunities there. So yeah.
Oh, Facebook page?
Yeah, Facebook page of UCE, and you can subscribe to their newsletter as well for opportunities.
Alright, thank you, Aqilah. So moving on to the next question by Amirul Azam. Question for Aqilah again. How does it feels like having the chance to join many of entrepreneurship challenges? What are the struggles and what did you gain from it? I think you have explained it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. From
Yeah.
just now.
Yeah. So we move on to other questions. Question for Anna. Yep. Experience in UC Musa as Khidmah officer for the year 2018 until 2019.
Well, you also.
Huh?
I'm not gonna give my insight as a UC Musa Khidmah officer because I think I fail in that part. But I will give you an insight as an exec. This year we had a lot of opportunity, like a lot. Oh, okay. And then I think I think it depends on a person, because for myself, what I love is the interaction between people. But maybe there are different person that want to get like an achievement or feeling of leading an activity or something. But for me, I want the connection between people. I feel that the best feeling that I've got is when you sit down with everyone and then you have this feeling that we are a family, and that's the feel that I got with UC Musa. So because UC Musa is very diverse, you got to experience a lot of different food, different culture, and the way how we make ourselves feel belongs is the best thing that I've ever experienced. The activity that we've done, I think we always got like new activities coming in. I think our president is very good at trying to secure this international people coming into our club. He also, I think our high exec is also very good in trying to get people from overseas. For example, we have this movie, I forgot the name. Was it Freedom? Freedom.
Yeah, Freedom.
And then we got offered to do a premiere for this movie, and then we got to meet the directors, which were from France and Malaysia. They were a couple, and then we also have the opportunity to organize to help with the mass shooting. We went to the community center, to the hospital. Also, we had events like in New Brighton with a collaboration with Canterbury Resilient Fund. I hope I say it right. And there's just a lot of activities. I'm not really a person that remembers much. So I believe that there are a lot of activities, and every time we do it, we were together. The best thing about UC Musa actually is, even though we have a very strong high ZAG, all the other ZAG have equal opportunity to create their own event. So, like, for example, if you suddenly feel like, oh, I want to organize this talk, and I want to bring in this speaker, and you just say that in the group and say that I'm bringing this speaker, and then they will give you all the freedom to organize it yourself, and then you will become the leader for that event. So every person has the opportunity to do whatever they want, and everyone will support them. And that's the thing that I believe is lacking in other organizations. Maybe, I'm not sure, but like. I lost my word right now. So I guess I'm gonna stop there because I'm lost in words right now. Sorry.
Oh, I think I can intervene.
Yeah.
What do you think the factors that made UC Musa the small supreme club?
Oh wow.
That's a big achievement for UC Musa this year.
Yeah. It was a first, was it?
Yeah, maybe,
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, so I believe that everyone contributed to it. Literally, like, we had so many meetings. Like, every week we got meetings. Every week we got this invitation. There's a lot of things going on that we only managed to do a fraction of it. And that fraction of it, we did very well. And everyone contributed their part to it. Also, we were so lucky that UC students also participated and helped and volunteered a lot in our event, because there's so many things going on and we can't do it ourselves. I guess that because of participation from you guys that make our club become a Supreme Club.
Alright, I think that's enough for
I think if you wanted into, like, you want to add up, cause
I'm good.
It is like also.
Yeah, I'm good. So thank you, Anna, for that good explanation. So we move on to Aqilah next for the next question. So we will jump on to this question. Any ideas of improvement that could be used by Malaysian government in regards to taking examples from New Zealand as a country? Do you have any ideas right now?
I think I would go to the small stuff. It's not really a small stuff, but it's quite a big thing that affects our lives, because it's in terms of work-life balance. So I think from my experience here, working like I say in the internship in New Zealand, they have this really good work-life balance in which they don't tend to overwork themselves, like bring home their works from the office to homes and doing it at night and stuff, because based on my observation in that particular company organizations that I was working on, they can simply like go home early. If they want to come early, they can just come early, and if they want to go home early, they can just go home early, as long as they have finished their jobs. And they don't really have to come in every single day, because they can like if they feel like going doing their work remotely, they can just do that. So it's not really that strict like for us in Malaysia, because I do have some experience as well working in Malaysia, and luckily, like most of my jobs in Malaysia, not all of them, but some of them, this where I think it's really fun, but we tend to overwork ourselves, and we tend to really want to really want to make everything I would say perfect, and it's also perfect here, but it's really more relaxed here than in Malaysia, because it's really hectic in my office in Malaysia. If I recall my working experience in MyPack, which is it is a business simulation company, where from the moment I start working at if I'm not mistaken 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Until 5 p.m. We don't really have that time to like really rest only during lunch, because I was handling phone calls for like simulation activities where people will call in, and it's a non-stop calling. So once I pick up the phone and once I put it off, it will come in non-stop until our lunch hour and until we stop. But it's really fun because during that time it's sort of we can get creative in whatever we're doing during that time. But here in New Zealand, my supervisor always checks on me and asks me if I'm doing well in everything that I do, and if I need rest, he can just let me. You can just go and grab a coffee and go and rest for a while, and you can just come back and do it more better. So I think that sense of it's really good that we in Malaysia we tend to want to do things really really good and really great, but the fact that we don't really put the life balance in like our a principle or in our working environment, it will tend to like in a long term way, it will tend to like make us feel demotivated and stuff, but tired, yes, as well. So while here in New Zealand, it's really simple, where you can just once you finish your job, okay, you can go home just like that. It's based on the organization that I'm working on, so I'm not really sure about, like, because I know for laboring jobs it's not as lenient as that, but this is in terms of office jobs, yeah. So I think that is one of the main thing that I see the different thing in working culture here, which is it's more relaxed.
Yeah, I want to add up a little bit about that. I think the work-life balance is more taken care of in the more developed countries, like the European countries, like New Zealand, Aussie, and I think so.
Do you reckon it's just a difference between like Western and Asian? Because if you see
the
a developed country, you can see like Korea and Japan, their work-life balance is very horrible.
Oh,
and
really?
People even die from overworking in Japan. They have like a term for it, but I forgot what it is. I think it's just like because in Western country they're more laid
The
back.
culture.
Yeah, the culture part.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I have some work experience here. More labor work. Like I work in Tegel right now during the summer, and for my department it was quite busy, so you cannot just simply you want to take a day off, it's very hard. So especially when you are employed for a fixed term contract, not a full time, so they will expect you to do your job every single day of the week. So but it's fine for me. But that's from the labor side.
Yeah, you're actually right. You know, because when I'm working here, my supervisor was like, you can come in whenever you want and go back whenever you want. It's dependent on you how you want to arrange your time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come in here.
But that doesn't mean we can be lazy now. It's just
Exactly. Because like even though my time is very very flexible, but my work is very heavy, so I know like I have to come and do this. But it feels like because you know you don't have a fixed time, so you feel very relaxed even though you know that this is such a hard work.
Alright, that's a good discussion topic to elaborate on. So we will move on to the next question for Anna this time. Talk about the gamelan.
Again, I got
the gamelan club.
So Kak Mai, she introduced gamelan to me, and then she was the one who wanted to participate in. And at that time I was in my first year, and I want to get an internship, so I want to get like a good CV, so I want to just add up whatever I can. So I add up gamelan to the list. So I participated in gamelan, and I stayed that until now. And this year I got elected as a president just because we wanted to bring gamelan into UC. So it wasn't actually under UCSA, it was under the Faculty of Music. So we was working with Faculty of Music only, so other people doesn't know about our existence, which is very sad because I think only 3 people actually take the course. Like gamelan is actually under course, but not even 5 people took the course this year. So it's mostly acted like a club, and that's why I proposed that we should go into UCSA. And they was like, oh, I nominated Anna as the president, like that. So it wasn't my hard work. I was just lucky. So every year we will have performances, and this is the first year that we did our performance in university, which is in Haireroa. But every year we always go to Lincoln University for the international festival over there. We went to Christchurch Music for UC Music Festival, and then also a heritage festival near the City Centre. So we always have performances outside of university, and that's also the reason why people doesn't know our existence, because we never perform in university except for this year. So I wish that if you want to get experience performing outside of the university, so join gamelan. It was very fun. And the instructor, the coordinator, they're all very chill people, very nice people. It's also another family for me.
So are you the current president, or it's not formed yet?
Not next year. This year.
Oh, you're.
So we had our AGM a few weeks back. So I already resigned.
Oh, all right. So who's the new president then?
The new president, he's I think he's an art student, but he's not a music student, like class literature thingy. He's not Malaysian.
What's his name?
His name is Liam Oliver.
Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah.
He came to our Isi Musa booth.
He always there. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like. I want to know more, cause like he always go to like a Muslim event. Even the 8th festival under the Cry Canterbury Resilient Fund, he was there as well.
Yeah. It's a cool guy. Yep. So moving on. So we go to Aqilah next. Yeah, what is the, like, if you wanna tell the people that doesn't know anything about entrepreneurship, what is the biggest foundation of being an entrepreneur?
So foundation of being an entrepreneur, is it?
Yeah.
So for me, I think because I'm still learning in terms of entrepreneurship. So what I see is it's a continuous learning experience in entrepreneurship. So you have to become like practical, and you have to like experience lots of different I would say different ways of doing things in entrepreneurship. So I would say the basis, you must keep on learning in order to know what is the best thing to do in entrepreneurship, because it's for everything that is happening in like business and entrepreneurship is sort of like very broad and very different from each of different business and each of different companies. So for me, it's continuous learning of doing things, and also learning by doing. Also, it's not just learning but without doing anything, but it's learning by doing. That's the main thing, I think.
I think this question relates to that. So do you have any person that you look up to, like any, like Steve Jobs or the successful people of the world, like Elon Musk? Yeah.
For me, there are many many entrepreneurs that I look up to, but the main, like, what I really look up to is when entrepreneurs use their richness and their skills and their knowledge to help other people. So it's not just you collecting money, collecting profits, and, you know, growing from there on. It's just it's from there you help other people by it can be anything in terms of financial, in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills, to help others. So I would say, because I said earlier, there are many people that I see doing that. But if in terms of in Malaysia, I would say Tan Sri Sheikh Muhtar Al-Bukhari. So he has this foundation which is called the Al-Bukhari Foundation. So I think with that foundation, and also his I would say his richness in his company, he tend to help others with that richness that he have. So I aspire to be that kind of entrepreneur, to be able to help other people, and it's not just me collecting money, it's also giving back to other people.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you mean? I mean, like, I have no idea whatsoever about commerce.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by entrepreneurship? Like, because in my head, entrepreneurship means that you sell stuff.
Mm-hmm. So entrepreneurship is the people that owns a business, where they create the business and go on from there.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is an entrepreneur. That is called an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's different from entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are different than CEOs, because CEOs they are not really not all CEOs are owners, like the creators, the founders of the business. So they tend to
Okay.
Yeah, CEO
So-
come and go.
So that
Yeah,
means that
yeah.
entrepreneur is the person who created or found the business.
yes.
But then when it stays, so
Mhm.
okay.
Like the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
founder.
Yeah, founder of the
okay.
business. Yeah. So you create the business.
So that's why everyone can be an entrepreneur. is that-
yeah. But it involves many sort of like if we see the difference between entrepreneurs and people who hold positions in like CEOs and everything, like people entrepreneurs is more of like they have to be creative and be innovative
Okay.
in terms of what they're doing.
Okay.
So because they tend to have lots of research and R&D stuff when they are starting the business. But as you go on, as the company grows and you become a CEO or something, and CEO can be anyone who does not own the business as well. So CEOs is more of managing the business, managing the people. So from there, it's more of organization. But in terms of entrepreneur, it's more of that creative ways of
Okay.
starting a business. Yeah. So you manage more in when you are a CEO, but you more of creating stuff when entrepreneurs.
So you're not really like manage type of person.
Y-
You're more
y-
like I'm the creative.
yeah, but
type
as you
person.
go along, because entrepreneurs as they go along, they will tend to become that.
yeah,
that
because
stage
you
of,
have to have the
yeah.
organization in the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you tend to change the way you're doing things.
Do you know
yeah.
the thing about it is that in engineering, because we kind of like more the one who we create. It's not like we create. Some engineers create stuff, but some engineers operate or plan.
Maintain.
Not maintained.
No?
I mean, we maintain is sort of, but yeah, okay, but I think that's the thing that okay, I'm just gonna drop it. So the thing is, like, whenever when we got class or we got a design class, we always talk about like, I want to create this, but then we always don't have the budget because people in the higher up say like, oh, you can't do this, and then you kind of like stop engineers from having that kind of
Yeah.
ideas, and then we always have this love-hate relationship with people because, like, for example, even in university they would say, I want to create a robot which is under $30, and the entire class, no, there's not going to be such a thing, because if we're just going to create a robot, for example, if we have a robot with the tires, that tires alone would cost more than 30 or around 30, and that's just like one try. You're not going to succeed with just one try. You're going to do multiple tries. So every time we do stuff, we're always going to use our own money. And I don't reckon that that's going to work in a business kind of environment because there's no way you're gonna lend your own money for your project, right? And then that's what happened when like engineer came to our university and they say like, oh, you know what, the higher ups are like we want to create this, and then they say that, oh, you can't run this because you over budget, but then they don't know. What they don't know is that when you want to try something, it will break, and you have to try it again, and that requires money. And they kind of like put a fault on the engineer, saying like you're not doing your job well. But like, well, you're not gonna succeed with just one try. And under that situation, engineers don't understand the higher up, and the higher up don't also understand engineers. So I was like, oh, are you the higher up? Or like, okay, are you not the higher up? Just interesting stuff.
But I think just to touch on Malaysia, so like the what do you say, like the mainstream people are so when your children go to school, and the parents always tell them to be like a engineer, to be like a doctor, to be like that's the stereotype. That's the stereotype. So
I mean like not into the art stream, like not in the commerce stream, but go into the science stream. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So so most of the brilliant students goes into these science streams, and they were jam packed right there. And then when we need people in the art stream, it's like that's the thing that Malaysian people need to realize. I think they have to
balance it.
They have to
I feel
realize what they really passionate about.
It depends on the person. Like if you're a person that you have a science head, then why would you go to the arts stream? But if you're a person that likes to manage your company, or like you have a art head, so go to that side. So it depends on the person, right? Not like, are you a genius, so go to the science, because that doesn't mean like that, because it might work in high school because it's all paper based, it's all like everything's written down in your books. But once you get to university, everything breaks down, because you need to make sure that you're a person and you're doing what you want, because if you're not doing what you want, you're not going to excel in it, because it's so hard. So you need to have that kind of head to do it.
I think I can relate to that because previously in my high school I took science stream actually. So because in my school it's all science stream. It's MRSM. It's in MRSM. So MRSM is more of science stream jobs, kind of studies. So but I actually don't really like science since I was small, and I am really passionate in business since I was small. So that's why I think if I see like in terms of my results, academic results in high school, it's not really that good in science, because I remember I really struggled in my science subjects. But after I pursue my studies in after SPM, I pursue my studies in entrepreneurship, which is something that I really passionate about.
And you feel like
I really feel like I really put my heart in it, and it reflects in my academic results as well, and it's really different from my results in science stream and in my results in business, because I really love doing it.
If I were to add on it, is that because I'm studying engineering, right? People, whenever they want to choose engineering, they say, are you good at physics, or are you good at, I'm not sure, but some people will ask, are you good in math too? But most people would say, especially for high school students, who would say, are you good in physics? So the thing is, physics and engineering are a completely different thing. It's not the same. It's very different. And if you were to put everything that you learn in physics into engineering, it would be very hard. Because like engineers, they assume everything. They take everything very simple. Like, but in physics, you have to make sure that everything you do is accurate. Like, even a very simple one, like for example, I'm electrical, right? And in electrical, there's such thing called voltage. There is no such thing called voltage in physics. You might think it is, but it's not. Voltage is just a unit, but in engineering, we don't care about it. We're like, everything is voltage. But in physics, it's actually called electric potential in difference. And there's also a difference between electric potential and electric potential difference. So even if you have your siblings, so younger siblings who want to take engineering, and they kind of, or someone forcing someone to take engineering because that person is good in physics, you can say that it's not physics, it's completely different. Although we use physics in engineering a lot, but it's not completely physics.
That's a very intellectual speech right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just have this. I always hear that engineering people, they will tend to be accountants during their as they rose through their careers. Yeah, they will.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because
Maybe-
they are very good-minded. Yeah, and
It's
then,
not me.
yeah, most of them.
Why would it's so different though. Like, I feel that I would say this is kind of like stereotypes. I feel that commerce people are like mature people. Whenever they speak, they have this kind of way how they speak. Like, how you know how politicians speak, right? They have like certain way of how they speak, and then commerce students also have this certain way of they speak. And engineering students are most probably like, we don't care. We just like a kid, you know. Like,
oh, really?
even our words are not proper, but I feel like commerce students use proper word. Or maybe that's just me. I don't like I'm very terrible at formal event, and because like if you're here, but not so much in Malaysia. But if you're here, if you see like engineers, they just wear whatever they want, like their home attire, their casual attire.
Yeah.
We don't go about and wear like a suit or whatever. That's so weird. And even on site, we don't care about this stuff. So I guess that because of the environment is like that. So that's why I'm so bad at formal event. That's it. And I feel like commerce students are very good at formal event.
I think one of the things that I always hear about engineers is that they are very hard people. They stick to their principles.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean principle?
Like when it's right, it's right. So when it's wrong, it's wrong. So there's
I
no
think that's because
middle gray area.
I think it's because I think it's because like engineers like to take shortcut. Cause like if you wanna build something, you don't want to go very detailed on it because it's very tiring. So you just like assume stuff, or you just go to the shortcut. It's like, okay,
Oh,
we're
I
gonna do
didn't
this.
know that.
And I guess that maybe because when you're talking to them, they feel that they don't want to bother or anything, so that's why they just go to the yes or no answer. I'm not sure, but I think engineers are not that hard. We're like we have the chill people. Like we don't care about this formal stuff, this rules and whatever.
Yeah, my father is a graduate of electrical engineering as
Wow.
well from some university.
He's hard.
And sorry?
He's hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe because when you're working, it's very tiring, whatever. But like students are not like that. Maybe after you go
Maybe
into
as you grow, you become like that.
Maybe because you have to handle a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I can't bother with this stuff. I'm just gonna say yes or no answer. Maybe, but students are pretty chill.
All right, that's an exciting
That's
exciting
theory.
insight.
So we'll see what you become.
Oh my gosh.
So it's already 53 minutes into the podcast, so we're gonna have about 7 minutes more. So question for Aqilah, I guess. Yeah, how's life in New Zealand so far? Anything that you want to share to the audience?
I think I really, really enjoy my life here in New Zealand. Mainly because I think first when I came here, what I wanted to focus on was traveling, traveling and studying, of course. So, but as you go on, because I was involved in many different organizations back in my college, but here, coming here, I thought to myself, how about look for other different stuff. So which is why I try to look for things that are more career related, because I think in terms of organizations kind of skills that I've gained from my college, I think I sort of want to find something different here, rather than just joining organization. It's not that I don't really want to go to join organizations, but I think I would like to explore other kind of stuff, which is why I went to competitions, which is why I tried to find internships and other things that are career related. But I do find it like exciting to go to events from other organizations like UC Musa, like SAMSA, and it's really fun to be having like events going on here that are really as I would say, like you can get to know more people through those events and through the events that the organizations here organize. So in terms of traveling, I really, like in my first year here, I really every single time of every single breaks, I would go to somewhere to travel. So far, I think the place that I haven't traveled is like the northern side of South Island, which is like Nelson, Kaikoura and all. But other places, yeah, I haven't been to Kaikoura. So like other places down south in South Island I've been to, and for north also I've been to most of the parts of North Island, except for the northern part of Auckland, because there's
The Northland.
the northland part. So I really enjoy traveling here because it's really I get to like experience this like really relaxful kind of ways, and really I think through traveling I really get to see all this kind of, because in New Zealand it's more to natures here, so it's really peaceful going out and see all these natures. And while when we come back here in uni, we start to tend to work with like studies, and also like for me I try to look for competitions to enter on.
Wow.
So in terms of in uni, I really enjoy going through those activities, but outside uni I really enjoy going to traveling. So it's really fun for me currently in New Zealand, and I'm really blessed. I feel really blessed to have to come here to come and study here. And it's not just studying that we do here. I'm sure like all of you can relate to that. It's not just studying that we do here, it's more of our life, what we can explore in what we find in exploring this New Zealand. Yep. So does that answer the question?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very very insightful answer right there. I scrolled your Instagram post, and I find it interesting on one post, which is the horse riding. Can you talk where is it, and how much does it cost? Is it fun?
Well, horse riding. The one that I posted was in Marihau. No, it's not in Marihau. I think it's at Waimakari River.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the name is Waimak River. Waimak River. I forgot the place because I actually I've actually studied. I learned horse riding back in Malaysia.
Wow.
Because I actually had this gap year before coming here to New Zealand, and after I finished my KPM studies, so I had this 1 year of waiting to come here. So which is why I think I do have the times to work and also to do other things, and one of it is learning horse riding. So when coming here, I actually went to a class also, which is I look for a really cheap class, but it's not really it's around $12 per hour, so it's really cheap at Marihau Riding Center. So but that is I don't really recommend for people who
A beginner.
Yeah, who's a really beginner, because they will let you ride, but then they won't really teach you.
That's
because
a New Zealand style.
So I would recommend, if you want to learn about horse riding as a beginner, you go to like more expensive classes. Like usually it's around $60 per hour if I'm not mistaken, $50-$60 per hour. So you can just Google riding centers in New Zealand in Christchurch and you can find it there. But for that, it's we went into forest for the post that you saw.
Yeah.
We went into a forest and we also crossed a river, which is the Waimakariri River. And if I'm not mistaken, it was $100. No, not really $100. $80 for 1 hour or 2 hours. I forgot actually, but you can just check Google and see the packages that you have for just like a 1 hour ride inside to cross the rivers and forests. So you don't have to have experience in horse riding because they will just bring you over to those places. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, same question to Anna. How's life in New Zealand so far? Any special moments?
You mean like in overall? Right?
Yeah,
not
overall.
Just university. Here, I think that I found a very great home. Because I think when I was in Malaysia, I think it's just because like in Malaysia, I was so focused on study, I think. So I wasn't really looking for making a lot of friends or having a very good connection with people. But in here, I was very happy that I lived in Makipo and they were all very, very nice to me. I really feel them like a family. Like, you know, when you're close to a person, you don't really care about that person feelings. Like, you're like, you're like, you can say whatever you want to that person, knowing that person won't hate you. And they can do whatever they want to you, and you know that you won't hate them. And that's the feeling that I got here. I never feel like that with other of my friends in Malaysia. So that's the first thing. And then the second one is, everyone here, I'm just going to talk about university. So everyone here is very, very nice. Like, you know, if you want to do a project, you have to have a good connection with people because there's just so much things that you can do. And then you have to meet your lecturers, and then you also have to ask your friends. So usually, if there's like a project season, people would stay up at the university, and people would even sleep in the lab because they want to finish it. And that's the time when you want to bond with people. Because like after a while, when you're super stressed, people will start doing weird stuff. They were like playing frisbee in the lab, just running around, screaming, and you just want to and you want to follow them and get into the clique, you know, because like that's the only thing that you can relieve your stress. And as the more you make connection with people, the more happy your life will become. And it's so easy to make connection and make friends with people here, no matter what nationality, and no matter what age they are, because I think like in every department, every major, there'll also be like an adult students. And adult students, they don't feel like an adult to me. Like you can just make friends, like click them, and like, hey, what's you doing in the weekend? You know? I think the bonding between people is the one that I really love here. Because in Malaysia, I feel like people are quite conservative. Like people are like, they kind of have this honorifics, like hierarchy. Like you can't seniority, and that's very hard because like you can't really make a clique with people that way, and you have to always address them as, you know, in your head like, there's some limit that I can behave myself. But in here, you can behave whatever you want, and it's just gonna make friends with you. It's very awesome.
Yeah, I like that too. Here, you can just call all people by their first names, and it's no problem. And they treat you
like a
friend.
Friend.
Yeah, I really like that about the culture in here. Thank you, Anna, for answering that question. So we already 1 hour, 1 hour. So just some last words and shout outs to friends or families from both of you. So we start with Anna first.
I think the main reason why I got here, in New Zealand, is because of my mom. Because my mom, since I was young, always put me in my head that I have to go overseas, and that's the main thing that always keep me going. And she's also the reason why I'm so afraid if I fail or whatever, because I have to face her. But I love her and I love her family, and I want also to make a shout out to my flatmates. I love you guys so much. I really mean it. I think that you guys are like sunshine in my heart right now, and my friends in general.
Alright, Aqilah.
Well, when you say that your mom put that what you call it? The
Expectation.
Like like I would say like brainwash me, but I don't know.
brainwash you. Well, I kind of like because both of my parents, they both studied overseas as well in USA, so they also have those stories that they tell me about studying overseas, and that's why when I was young I that was my dream also, to come overseas, and I'm really happy to be here in New Zealand currently. So thank you, Mama and Papa, for all those inspirational talks, and I'm finally here in New Zealand. And I would also want to thank my friends here, my batchmates here, since we will go our part ways. Because when I first came here, I was the only one from the other branch of KPM, because I was from KPM Bandar Melaka, and the rest of my batchmates coming with me was from KPM Bandar Penawa. So it was really good that they are here as well. If not, I was gonna be here alone. So it's gonna be it's not that much fun if I'm gonna be here alone. But when I started coming here, so thank you very much for all the memories, and also for other Malaysian friends as well, and because having Malaysians here feels like at home, because I know Samsa's motto is bringing home closer, and I think that is really something that I really feel that it's a good thing for us to have other Malaysians here. It's not that having Malaysians here like restrict us from like engaging with other people here, but it makes us feel like at home. That's the way. So
I want to add up.
Yeah.
Lu Blue Tibia.
Allah.
What's that?
Matifa will know that.
Only the people.
Only Matifa will know.
So thank you everyone, and thank you to my housemates as well for treating me kindly. Although they always bully me, but I know they really love me as well. So another thing that I would add up would be, to everyone, I would suggest every Malaysian students to just go out there and have the courage to explore and engage with other people here, because we only have like a really short amount of time in universities. For example, for me it's just 2 years. I think for you it's longer, 4 years. 4 years. So during that short amount of time, we don't really have that much of opportunity to, to
chances to
the chances to experience, to grab all the experience and opportunity that you can get. And it's not just wait for experience for the opportunity to come, but it's you yourself should go out and search for it. That's my call advice to people.
To any of the viewers who are interested in getting into the podcast, I would highly recommend you to put yourself forward and just tell me that you are interested. That's all. So a very big thanks to both of you, Ana and Aqilah, for being the first of the female guests. And hopefully we will have more female guests in the future, and probably
Maybe law.
Sorry?
Different department.
We will have.
Law, science.
I have contacted 2 of my friends. Probably they're gonna come tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next week. So they are both female as well. So looking forward for that. And that's pretty much it for the 4th episode of Samsa Podcast this week. And if you don't like the Samsa page, please like it and share this Samsa Podcast with your friends. And have a good weekend, and see you all next week. Thank you. Kia ora. Bye.